Marcus Rashford. Oh, glorious! That is a special one.
What's happening, everyone? Big Phil here on this lovely Sunday. And welcome to the United Hour. This weekend, saw some really good results for not only United, but some other teams slipped around. Not really slipped around us, but some of the top six teams slipped around in the top six. We won't talk about that today. We'll just talk about what they officially call Ruud's last dance. And by that I mean we all saw that Eric Ten Hag was sacked a couple weeks ago. And as interim manager, Ruud had 4 games under his belt until the new manager, Ruben Amorim, comes in. He played Leicester in the Cup. He played also, who was it? The PAOK? Yep. PAOK. He played Chelsea, and then he played Leicester again today. And he finished with an unbeaten run. One draw and 3 wins. So I think we're here today to say, thank you to Ruud, but also our thoughts on the game today. Would we like to see Ruud stay on? And what changes what changes will Ruben Amorim bring to Manchester United, if any? Right. So, and as always, I can't do it by myself. I'm joined by President Chad, and I'm joined by Robert. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
I can't complain at all. Manchester United win a football match on a Sunday. Make the weekend even more enjoyable. City lost. Make the weekend even more enjoyable. Arsenal and Chelsea draw. Make the weekend even more enjoyable. Unfortunately, Liverpool won, but
Spurs gave Ipswich their first win of the season.
Yeah.
Even better.
Manchester United coach doing big things. Well, a former United coach.
Yeah. So, what better way for Ruud van Nistelrooy to bow out than not only with a 3-0 win, but also in front of the home crowd at Old Trafford, right? Let's go through the game today, and then we'll talk about Ruud afterwards. I think Ruud was a bit consistent with his lineup, and I guess that's what most. I guess that's what most fans want to see with United managers. Be consistent with your lineup, but be consistent in terms of if a player is playing well, give him another chance. And I have to mention Amad Diallo, who we saw in the first month of this season. The guy got player of the month, and then all of a sudden he's back on the bench, right? I think the approach that Ruud was taking for these last 4 games was, if you played well, you'll start the next game, right? So we saw Amad and Rashford and Højlund as the top 3. The middle was Bruno, Ugarte, and Casemiro, and I'll definitely get in on Ugarte later on in this show. And then the back 4, Dalot, Mazraoui, De Ligt, and Sandro Martinez, right? I want to ask you guys, any thoughts on the lineup? Would you have maybe exchanged or had another player somewhere else on the field instead of like the current players now?
I would not change anything really. I was glad to see Garnacho starting on the bench because after his poor performance in the last game, Garnacho deserved to start on the bench. And yeah, that was about it. I think this is the strongest team. We all know that Luke Shaw is back in training, but I mean, you had to treat Luke Shaw with kid gloves, so I would not have expected him to come in immediately. So yeah, this was as good a starting 11 as I think he could have put up.
What are your thoughts, Robert? Any changes to the lineup, or you're satisfied with the lineup?
No, I was happy. I was happy because, to be fair, Garnacho did not have a good game in the last game. So, and Ahmad deserved to start, especially after the Europa League game. He deserved to start, and I mean, today was again a very consistent performance by him. The team played well, the midfield played well, Bruno actually played well, so yeah, I mean, I was happy with the team. I was happy with the team. I was happy.
Yeah, I share the same sentiments where that Garnacho has been a bit inconsistent, but he keeps on getting a start week in, week out. So I'm glad that Garnacho was on the bench. I mean, Marcus Rashford didn't do much today to warrant a start for next game, but we're going into the international break. But yeah, I saw Ugarte play well against PAOK. And I hope that he would have started today. And so said, so done. First goal came from a Bruno Fernandes from what is it, a back heel from Ahmad?
Yeah.
It looked so like nonchalant from Ahmad. It was almost like you just waiting.
It was a nice one too. It catch the whole defense sleeping.
Yeah, because Ahmad, you're just waiting to see what he would have done. I thought he would have turned back out, but to see him back heel or a side back heel, if you want to call it that, and everybody will know what I mean. A side back heel to Bruno. Bruno finishes it 1-0. Second goal, it was deemed a non-goal, but it was a great pass from Mazraoui. And those were 2 goals in the first half. And then third goal came from the guy who I always think is an impact when he comes off of the bench. He shouldn't be starting that often, but he's always an impact when he comes off the bench. Alejandro Garnacho. We'll touch a little bit on, I guess, Garnacho's reaction after scoring the goal, but we won't get to that as yet. I'll start with, what do you guys think of? Actually, let me rephrase it. Were there any outstanding players today? And that's the question.
I want to talk about players and moments. I am very upset, or a little disappointed. Let me not say upset. I'm disappointed that Captain Bruno has returned as soon as Eric Ten Hag has walked out the door. I've been saying from the beginning of this season that Manchester United goes the way Bruno Fernandes goes. Bruno Fernandes has been at Manchester United for what, this 4 seasons now? In no other time in the history did he get 2 red cards in a season. The man didn't just get 2 red cards in 1 season. The man get 2 red cards in the first 10 games. That's what I'm saying. So he missed games due to suspension. One got rescinded, but still. And his performances were lackluster. He missed sitters. Bruno Fernandes has been underperforming. Suddenly Ten Hag is out the door and he has 3 goals and 3 assists?
Yeah.
In 4 games?
Yeah.
And all the games before that, struggling?
Yeah.
So, I mean, am I glad to see Captain Bruno? Yes. The question is, where was Captain Bruno at the beginning of the season? I don't know. So, clearly today, Bruno needs a shout-out because he would have gotten an assist for the own goal because the goal came off his thigh before it hit the defender's thigh. So, he had 2 assists and a goal. One of the biggest moments for me, which just shows the inconsistency of this team, is when Garnacho fouled himself in the box. Garnacho's running down the road, nice green grass in front of him. A defender is running, and next thing you know, Garnacho fouled himself. The poor defender must be a stinking ref. It wasn't me,
It was a great pass from Ugarte as well, too, man. With his left.
It's like, it wasn't me, ref. It wasn't me. And then later on in the game, to score an excellent shot, it just shows you that Garnacho's performance coming off the bench encapsulates to me Manchester United season so far. Moments of brilliance, but a lot of tata before that. You understand? Because that wasn't the only time he played crap. The first pass, the man had Ahmad one way, you got to the next way, pass the ball directly between the two men, pass through into the next team as he come on. You know? So everybody would talk about the Garnacho goal, and I'm not dogging Garnacho. We all know, we all about that Garnacho. We have a Garnacho t-shirt to give away, right? I ain't dogging Garnacho. But the reality is, the play and this team has been so inconsistent. And so those were the two moments for me where the player, Bruno Fernandes, has turned back in suddenly into Captain Bruno. And, Garnacho's inconsistency to me is a reflection of the team for the season so far.
Yeah, definitely can allude to everything President Chad just said. As I told some other Man United fans, right? We want to come here, let's say, a year from now, and we shouldn't be asking the question, who is the outstanding player? Because these players will just give us a 7 out of 10 every single game, be consistent, and we'd be like, okay. I mean, seeing a performance from this specific player is like a natural thing we've been seeing for the last 10, 20 games. We want to come to this podcast and be like, yeah. Or if we invite somebody new to the podcast and somebody's like, I don't know, Delit, he played so well. We should look at that person and be like, yeah, that's been Delit for the last 10, 20 games, but brother man. So, what about you, Robert? Any outstanding players today for you?
I think Ugarte played well today. I think Ugarte had a consistent game. I think since his first game, he has been getting a little better every game. You're seeing why he was brought in for. Especially with him and Casemiro. Casemiro now that is actually making sense. I'm not saying that Casemiro is back, but you actually see it within a system. Even though Casemiro have age, but you have him in a system and he plays well. He and Ugarte are playing well. Mazuari, to me, is the purchase of the year. I can't remember how much money we paid for him. But this man could play left back, great. Right back, great. Because even like today, he was playing, I believe he was playing left back, start, and then Dalot came off, and he went to right back, and he was just as good. There was no drop off. I think Mazuari to me is the purchase of the year, and the man has been coming and having good game after good game after good game. So I have to big up Mazuari. I even had a big up, Onana. He was just good. He was just good.
He made a couple of saves that were good today.
Yeah. He didn't need to do anything, foolish today, which was good. My problems would be Højlund. I don't get. Like him and Haaland, like right now are having the same year right now, playing real crap. Like the Haaland and Højlund just kind of morphed together like into one. I don't know what it is. I have had Haaland on my team for FPL for weeks now. Can't score. You understand? So see today, I'm gonna go and take him off. Right? Today he's coming off today because that man is horrible. But Højlund to me doesn't make any sense. I don't see where he fits. But he was very pivotal in the second goal for Bruno because he made a run and he pulled like two defenders off of Bruno, right? So he does have his purpose, but I mean at the same time he is here to score goal, and he's not really doing that, and and go back to Garnacho. You fall yourself and then you come back up and you score. But the team itself played well under Ruud. They played very well. But I will say the same thing I said last week Sunday. These players are snakes. From Bruno coming straight down, they are a bunch of snakes. All of a sudden, all of you all know how to play football. All of a sudden. So my issue would be when Amarin comes in, how long will it take for these guys to throw Amarin under the bus? That is my concern. Because we know these guys are a bunch of cowards.
We'll get to that later on in the podcast, and I think I alluded to that in a reaction video when we appointed Ruben Amorim as head coach of United for November 11th, right? I did allude to that in a video, but we'll get back to that. Before I give my opinion, I'll just get through these 3 comments by Mark Lewis. Welcome, buddy. So replace the first day with a U, and it's Ruud, not Rudd. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. But that's a good Sunday to you. That's a good Sunday to you, Mark Lewis. Definitely welcome for tuning. Thank you for tuning in. And then last comment, Mark is saying Ahmad is a starter all day, every day. Yeah, totally agree. In terms of purchase of the season, Mazraoui is definitely up there. I'm not too worried about Mazraoui, Robert, because he's gone into the category of he'll give us a good performance. Doesn't matter, right? I'm not too worried about Mazraoui. Mazraoui had one bad game, that was the Liverpool game. But other than that, for you to be so consistent under Eric Ten Hag and the way we were playing, I salute you, right? So he's gone into that category of he'll give me a 7.5 or a 7 performance out of 10 every single game. So he's over there, whatever. De Ligt has been doing a job quietly, right? I'm slowly but surely starting to like De Ligt. He is coming into his own, and to see Lissandro Martinez and De Ligt in constant communication, that's what I like to see with regards to defensive partnerships. I think gone are the days where you'll ask who is the best defender, right? What makes a good defender is his partner. Just one attribute, right? Or one attribute is the right word, right? De Ligt is doing a job quietly. A lot of United fans, for some reason, were writing off Ugarte, right? And I wasn't one of them. Ugarte is slowly but surely coming into his own, right? The composure that I saw from Ugarte in the Copa America, I said, please bring that to Manchester United. Obviously, Copa America is a bit slower than the EPL, and there's more games to be played. But I saw Ugarte coming into his own for the last couple of games right now. Didn't play that well versus Chelsea, but he's definitely been... I am going to predict this here right now. He's going to be one of our best players under Ruben Amorim because he used to work with him, right? Amad Diallo. What can I say more about the guy? When we bought him from Atlanta, he was a bit weak and feeble, but having him go on 2 loans, and all of a sudden the guy is making that right side his own slowly but surely, and it's almost like when I'm talking to the TV when I'm watching this game, give the ball to Ahmad, because if you give the ball to Rashford is always going to look across. It's almost like Rashford is like Ashley Young 2.0. And I say that because I was watching Everton and West Ham yesterday, and every time Ashley Young got the ball for Everton, he's looking across. And Marcus Rashford was like that today, right? So whenever I'm talking to the TV, watching this United game, give the ball to Ahmad. Ahmad is going to look to take you on. I don't know what confidence. Marcus Rashford has little confidence right now, but Ahmad, just give the ball to him, right? Casemiro, since the Liverpool game, has been showing a lot of improvement, I must say. Casemiro was good today. I thought he was better in the Chelsea and the POAK game, but he was very good today. And yeah, Christian Eriksen, I think, has been our most consistent player this season, right? But yeah, I do share the same sentiments with Robert in terms of Hoyland. Um, at one point in time, I was like, okay, don't give the ball to Hoyland in the air. It's better with the ball to his feet. And then all of a sudden, like he not performing when you're giving the ball to his feet as well too, right? So I mean, I don't want to say if you're a striker that if you come to United is a graveyard for you, right? But you got to show some sort of like intention to like work for the football, right? I told people already, Hoyland should model his game off of Harry Kane or Wayne Rooney, because at the end of the day, some more midfielders love to give away the football. You must come deep for the football and look to dictate play as well too, right? Put some of the pressure off of our midfielders, bring the centre back forward, which means that there's only one centre back now to defend. So yeah, but yeah, I digress. Our consist my man the match today, it could be different for you guys. My man the match today was Mano Ugarte. That's just me, right? I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys
I
had
agree.
somebody else
Yeah,
different, but
I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. Bugatti. I agree.
Gatti had a big game, and I'll be honest with you, I really want to give Bruno man of the match right now. So Gatti will get my vote too.
let me get some comments before we go to the next topic. Mark Lewis is saying, "Nice. What I have to do to win it, as in probably the Garnacho jersey."
All you have to do, Mark, is hashtag the United Hour with any comment in the comments. That's it. All anybody has to do to be eligible to win the Ganacho t-shirt is on YouTube, because I know we're visible on other platforms as well. Hashtag the United Hour, and you're gonna be eligible to win that Ganacho signed Ganacho t-shirt.
Yeah, and those are the instructions on how you can, I guess, be eligible to win an Alejandro Garnacho Man United jersey, right? Zahir is in the building. Thank you for joining us. Keep the flag flying, gents. Sorry, I can't stick around. Oh, and Deerfield, give Bruno some credit today, please. Um, it was a well taken goal by Bruno Fernandes, but I kind of shared the same sentiments as President Chad when he mentioned earlier, why are these performances now appearing? Where were these performances under Ten Hag, right? Um, and a little bit of what Robert touched on. Some of these players are snakes, from Bruno all the way down. But you know what? I'll keep it positive for right now. It was a well taken goal by Bruno Fernandes. Credit to him. We move on to the next comment. Courtney Andrews, good afternoon to you as well, buddy. Thanks for joining us. And then last comment we'll get into. Are they feed Erasmus? Are they feed Erasmus? They are not. He is making runs and not getting the ball. Yeah, there's some instances, not only just in this game, but other games where Erasmus Hoyland is begging for the football. I remember I was talking to this other guy, and he and I didn't have a bet, but it was more of like, I bet you, Phil, that Rasmus Hoyland will touch the ball after 10 minutes. I said 10 minutes. I bet you he would touch the ball after 20 minutes. We were both wrong. He touched the ball after 21 minutes. Right? We were both wrong. Both wrong. So yeah. 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 Like I said, Rasmus Hoyland, you kind of have to model your game after Wayne Rooney or Harry Kane and come deep for that football. Show for it, right? You're not a Berbatov where you're not a Berbatov or a Zlatan where you can just stay up top and just hope for the best, and like, when you take the ball, something magical will happen, because that's what Berbatov and Zlatan do, right? Whenever they get the ball to the feet and they're close to the opposition box, it's either a goal or they're gonna make the keeper save, right? Or they're gonna lay it off to one of the strikers. I mean, one to one of the wingers. We're gonna lay it back to them, goal, right? So yeah, you got to model your game off of either Hurricane or Wayne Rooney, right? So yeah, I guess we'll get into the next topic, because Man United 3, Leicester 2. Man United 3, Leicester 0. So it was another instance where we beat Leicester by 3 goals because the first time we faced Leicester was a 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we got 2 topics, but I don't know if we'll put them into one. I guess the next thing we'll discuss is definitely if Ruud should be part of the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
I have mixed emotions on this, but I'll let President Chad or Robert go first on this here.
But one thing that you did not tell me is why was Garnacho vexed, right, after he scored the goal? What was his issue?
Yes, so
I don't know if
based on what social media is saying, Fabrizio Romano reported that Garnacho has lost faith in the fans. He thinks that the fans do not have his backing.
well, right.
I kind of disagree with that because at the end of the day, Gen Zers, and I can say this as a fact, Gen Zers are going to Old Trafford because of you, Garnacho. Maybe because of Rashford, maybe because of Bruno, but mainly because of you. You are the one that is actually having parents drag their children to Old Trafford to watch you, right? Gen Zers love you, Garnacho. So for you to make a comment where you say the fans aren't behind you, I find that a bit disingenuous, right? But yeah, Robert, that's the reason Garnacho, because when Garnacho scored the goal, I thought he would have ran towards the fans or celebrated, but the guy literally just like the guy made his gesture as in like if Leicester was his former team and he doesn't want to celebrate against them.
Yeah.
So when all of a sudden
you see, that's the problem with dudes like Garnacho. Your ego is where your talent should be. You have a Cristiano Ronaldo ego, but you're not exuding as yet. You're not showing Cristiano Ronaldo talent. You understand? Everybody says that you're capable. A lot of us believe Garnacho can become, right, the next Ronaldo for us in terms of performances. But your ego is too high.
Correct.
You have been playing trash. Your last game, you were too selfish. The fans are letting you know you play trash. When you play well, look at the stark difference between him and Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo has been one of our best players for the season.
And not selfish.
And not when he scores, even if 2 games in a row he get benched, didn't even come on as a sub, and he score, he run and he point to the badge. You understand? He run and he point to the badge because he loves playing for Manchester United. Now, I'm not saying Garnacho don't love to play for the club, but you want the fans to love you, perform. The fans don't hate you, but they will let you know when you're doing crap, like fouling yourself in the box or being too selfish. You understand? That is, as fans, we have a responsibility. We will back you up if we arguing with somebody else. I will sit down here and say I upset with Bruno. You feel I will say that if I talking with a Liverpool man? No, Bruno is the best thing out since sliced bread. Can't touch Bruno Fernandes. But amongst ourselves as fans, we're supposed to be able to correct our players, to have an opinion about them when they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And Garnacho has been inconsistent. He and Bruno Fernandes have been the most wasteful. I know we just give Rashford a lot of trash, but those 2 players has thrown away real goals for the beginning of the season. Garnacho and Bruno Fernandes, nobody in showing more goals than them. Nobody.
Now, I do get, right, because Garnacho is finally playing like Messi. Shit. Right? So I get, right? I understand he's trying to appease Messi, right? I get, right? So you're playing real crap now. I get, right? Messi can't
trying to earn a spot on the Argentina team.
Right. So he would say, you know what, let me play like the man. The man playing crap, I could play crap too. You understand? I thought it was because maybe he logged on to Ronaldo's channel on YouTube and maybe his comment didn't go through and he was upset. Because you know the man loved Ronaldo for some reason. I don't know. Maybe his dog didn't reach. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know. But
He get one tick instead of two ticks.
Yeah, you understand? You want
Or
when I mentioned and
he
say,
get he get
Ronaldo, how
he
you
get he get
doing?
he get two ticks, and he get the scene.
Yes. And he was vexed. He said, no, no, no.
So you cannot be so young. What have you done in a United shirt? Yes, you score goals in big games, right? Mano score goals in big games, right? You win a youth league. You win, well, you won't, not you meaning him alone, but you win a youth FA Cup. You win a senior FA Cup. But what have you done? What have you really done in a United shirt that fans supposed to give you a pass when you're playing trash?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Players like Rooney, after being faithful servants for 5-6+ years, even if you have a horrible season, we could give him a blind.
Mm-hmm.
Even Rashford, to some extent, could deserve a blind because from youth league he's been a faithful servant to the club, right? Some of a blind, I ain't say totally, because he hasn't been consistent enough every season to get a blind all the time. But what has Garnacho done to deserve consistent love from the fans? In my opinion, nothing yet. Nothing yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that attitude, so hopefully new coach can pull him in our corner and let him know, hey, matter of fact, that shouldn't even be the coach. That should be Bruno Fernandes' responsibility. As captain, people like Casemiro, if Ronaldo was here, these people to pull him square and say, youth, that is not the way you do it. You want to enjoy yourself to the fans. When you score, run by the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Run by them.
Yeah.
You understand? That's what you do. You want to make people love you, perform consistently.
Mm-hmm.
But can these new crop of players, these Gen Z players, because we're both all three of us on this panel, I would assume, are either Gen X or Gen Y, right? But can these Gen Z players take criticism?
No.
A lot of them seem to be a little too soft.
And from what I saw since Tuesday, yeah, they're a little bit cuckoo puffs. You know?
Anyway, enough about Garnacho. Let's talk about Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
Talk about something positive.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, Ruud van Nistelrooy was given the task of 4 games, and it could have been more if the board didn't act swiftly to hire Ruben Amorim, because apparently I was told, or it was rumored that the board actually met a week before Man United versus West Ham to speak to Ruben Amorim. So I mean, anyway, Ruud's results: 5-2 versus Leicester in the cup, 1-1 draw versus Chelsea. What was the result versus PA? Okay, was it 2-1, 3-1?
2-0.
2-0. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm out with the brace. Yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2-0 versus PA. Okay, so that's first clean sheet, and then last game to see it out at Old Trafford, 3-0 versus Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
Another clean sheet, another 3 points. Right. Ruud van Nistelrooy, unbeaten. Should he be able to stay on at Manchester United? What are you guys' thoughts?
My opinion on that is up to the new coach. I even think that's a decision for the board. The board should ask Amorim, watch, we like this guy. Sometimes you need a bit of holdover. The players like, so the word I'm getting is the dressing room. The players like Ruud, and being a former legend of the club, it would be a good idea for Amorim to have somebody that the players may find it easy to talk to, right? So it makes sense from that perspective, but you want your new manager to come in and feel confident. And if for some reason he's going to come in and you're going to feel Ruud looking over his shoulder and is going to be uncomfortable and he say you don't want him, then you have to, so you cannot undermine a new manager. No, when I say that, I'm not saying the club will be doing that. But If the manager feels he's being undermined by keeping Ruud, then they gotta bust Ruud through, in my opinion. If the manager is like, yeah, Ruud could stay, I don't have a problem with Ruud Van Nistelrooy, then Ruud could stay. I think it's good to have that little bridge because that is what when Ten Hag first came, his main assistant coach, what was his name? Former United head coach. No, former United assistant coach.
I know who you're talking about.
I've seen him's face, but I can't remember his name.
I see his face as well too.
Under Sir Alex, but his role was more than anything
not Carlos Queiroz. No.
No. Yeah, not
McLaren.
McLaren, right? McLaren's main role was just to be that liaison with the players. You never used to on the sideline talking strategy with McLaren. Never in that game. His role was to deal with training and be that person, that bridge, because some of the players would have known him. More importantly, he would have known the culture of at Manchester United. So, he would have helped Ten Hag along with certain things. And I think in the same way, Ruud could do that. He would understand the culture of the club. He would understand the history. He would understand significance. So he could help the new coach setup. However, so as much as I think he should stay on, however, if the new coach is going to have a problem, then he got to go. He got to go because if it back in a new coach, you had to back a new coach. And if he say, nah, I just want my coaching staff, me and one over, then he got to go. So that's my opinion. I don't think the board, obviously the board will execute that. The board should not say, well, Amarin don't want Ruud. No. Right? We out here in the public, we must never know that conversation is being had. We don't want to make the new coach look bad. But that's how I think it should be. It all depends on what Amarin is comfortable with. If he's comfortable with Ruud being there.
In my opinion, the reason I state I have mixed emotions is because the players love Ruud, according to what media sources are saying. But you want to give Ruben Amorim the freedom to make his own decisions, right? You wouldn't want to come to Man United and you must be forced to put Ruud Van Nistelrooy in your assistant coaching staff because according to this article here, the guy already has about 3 or 4 assistant coaches. And if we're gonna
and he bring it all.
Yeah, he bring it all.
He bring it all.
These are the assistant coaches I think he had from Braga days, if memory serves me correct. Right? So if we had to, let's do a quick scroll, we had to start with this guy, Carlos Fernandez, who at 29 years old. That's young. Some people are still playing in the leagues at that age, obviously, right? 29 years old and an assistant manager. Don't forget that Ruben Amorim is 39 years of age, right? If you have to go to the next guy, right? Andelio Candido, another assistant coach, right? And he's 28 years old, right? If you have to scroll further down, this guy, Emmanuel Ferrero, another assistant coach, right? And then last but by no means least, Jorge Vital, a goalkeeping coach. Now, and another guy, a sports scientist, which Man United definitely needs for sure, right? In my opinion, if we were to keep on Ruud, he would be a striking coach, if that makes sense, right? He will be the guy that will take some of the strikers, or he'll be a finishing coach. Basically,
finishing coach, player liaison, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's the only responsibilities he would have.
Yeah, so those will be, I guess, Ruud's responsibilities. But bear in mind, Ruud does have a contract as assistant coach, I think, till either 2026 or
26.
Right? So, I mean, here's the thing. Was it in the contract that you will remain assistant coach if Ten Hag is in charge, or you are just hired as assistant coach no matter who the manager is?
Nah, I don't think so, which is why he has publicly stated he wants to stay. I think if he was sure of his tenure, he would not have publicly stated he wants to stay. He wants to stay. He don't mind being an assistant. He don't mind sitting down in the background. But then we'll see. I don't think it'll be long for us to hear something because the club has been tight-lipped. We haven't heard anything from the board at all on what they plan to do with Ruud. But as I said, to me, that totally is dependent on the new coach.
True. Let me get through some comments here. Mark Lewis is hashtagging the United Hour. Thank you for the hashtag, Mark Lewis. And then he's saying again, Ruud should stay as part of the coaching staff, right? Yeah, we were alluding to the fact that Ruud could be the same as a goalkeeping coach. There should be like I don't want to call it. Is it a striker coach? Is what Benny McCarthy had at United? Whatever job position he had, you then give it to Ruud if that's possible, right? Because 3 assistant coaches is madness unless they have different titles or they'll probably be assistant coaches, but each of them have like various responsibilities. Some will overlap, some will be separate, right? But I think a majority of the United fan base would like Ruud to stay. But
Yeah, so
as President Chai said, it's totally up to the new coach. Right?
Yeah, you don't want to put the new man under pressure. And when I say under pressure, if he feels psychologically that Ruud's presence is a problem, you don't want that. You can't afford that. You need to come into the job and feel comfortable.
But also, and I'll let Robert tune in just shortly. Also, if he is watching these games from afar and he sees how the United crowd have responded to Ruud, he could kind of use that to his advantage. But
Yes.
as you said, totally up to the new coach. I don't know what you think about what we've been saying for the last couple of minutes, Robert.
I mean, it was so hard, right? But I remember, when Ruben Amorim Sporting beat Man City 4-1, right?
Yeah.
And that was, to me, the worst thing that could have happened to him, honestly. The worst. Because if your guys watch ESPN, they were all saying, well, you see, you can do it here. So, your fans should be happy because, they are propping him up now to break him down, next week. Because you know how it goes. I saw the fans were happy, like, yes, they were acting as though this was our win. No. This was their win.
Correct.
Right?
Well, we play Manchester City in December, so we ain't got long.
Yeah, to wait.
We ain't got long.
And the thing is, right, the problem will come if we play that game and we draw or we lose, or even if we win, but we win very tight. You know what you will say? Oh, well, you see, maybe he isn't the man, really and truly. So, but the thing is that what fans have to understand is that it was his players, his staff, and him is what made that result possible.
Correct.
And so for him to
and Manchester City's injuries, and they're going through a bad spell.
Right now.
Nobody will talk about the injuries. And don't get me wrong, City don't deserve a pass. They're playing crap. But they have some major injuries. They have major players missing. Rodri and others.
I don't care.
So nobody cares. Nobody is shedding no tears for City.
I don't care because them men brag that they have 2 teams, right?
And they do.
Anybody, right? So I'm sorry. I have no sorrow for none of them. None. My thing is that if Ruud has to leave, then you know what? That has to be for us to get back to where we're supposed to be. And what I don't want is for Amorim to come in here and for him to be put with Ruud, and then all of a sudden you see we are back here again next 2 years on the same blinking merry-go-round. You understand? And that is not what we want. You understand? So if Ruud has to go, I mean, then unfortunate, but I think I think we understand because the reality is right that he was, I think, number one in line to get the job at Burnley, I believe, and he left that just to come to us.
We know Ten Hag is going to get a next job. We know Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to get a next job. Everybody in the Manchester United setup is going to get a next job. That is not, as a given. And these 4 games, as Big Phil would have said, they're only going to enhance Ruud's resume because it's wonderful performances when Manchester United has been struggling to score all season.
Yeah.
And we score more goals in the last 4 games
than
any other time before.
Yeah.
I think we actually have a positive goal difference for the first time this season.
Well,
right? Because we was marking 0 most of the time.
Remember last season was the same thing too. We were in negative.
Yeah. Right? So Ruud in a strong position. Whether to stay or to go, he in a strong position. I wouldn't mind if he stays, but I would totally understand if Amarin, because if it was me, I would have been thinking, what you was here and you see the next man going through the door. I don't want you here to see me go through the door. So what's going on? Out with you. Out with you.
If anything, make a little tap back.
Let me keep men who faithful to me and my team. I ain't sure about you. You might be trying to knife me in the back. So
next
goodbye.
3 years, when Real come knocking, right? Come back again. You understand? Because you know how Real is. Real love to come and take people things. We love that. You understand?
We used to be like that. That's what big clubs do. They want to take people things. I'm sure Porto feel that we taking their things. Sporting, sorry. I'm sure Sporting feel we taking their things. And trust me, when January come along and we come knocking for the striker,
no. Leave the man. I'm sorry. We went through a whole 2-3 years of Ajax players. Oh, look, name
Robert, you can say what you want. I am telling you.
One Ajax player that came to this team that performed.
In January and in the summer, all of Sporting players are going to be linked to a move to Manchester United.
Don't get me wrong, Robert. Robert does have a point where it comes to manager looking to
bring his
former club's players, right? To answer Robert's question, last season I would have definitely actually let me rephrase it. I'm still on the same page of you. I would have been more on the same page as you with regards to last season. But I would say the only signings from Ajax that have let me choose my words, improved are I hate to say it, but Onana has been very good this season. Last season, I can tell you straight up, Robert, Onana was shit.
Yes.
Absolute shit. Lissandro Martinez in his first season under Erik ten Hag, probably top 3 defenders in the EPL.
Yeah.
Mazraoui has been very good this season.
Yes.
And then De Ligt has been going about his job quietly. But I think what Robert is trying to say is that any signings that Ten Hag has made since he has been in charge, they were questionable. Malacia injured, Mount injured.
Yeah.
Lissandro Martinez last season injured. Onana was shit last season. Yeah. Anthony still shit.
Overall, Ten Hag's transfers business, I think, would be a net positive because you don't expect every transfer to be good.
No.
And obviously, Anthony was failure. Malacia was failure. And we have Mount is a big question mark, not a little one. It's a humongous question mark because Mount was not an injury-prone player before he came to Manchester United. So I don't know what's going on with him. But we have all the players you call, Phil. I think, 5 good signings, 2 bad ones, and 1 questionable one. 5 out of 8 ain't bad. My vote I take back.
So yeah. So I mean, before let's spend the next 5 to 10 minutes to bring it to the hour to discuss maybe what Ruben Amorim, what would you like to see Ruben Amorim bring to Manchester United? And I choose my words because what we would like versus what he may actually bring could be the same thing or it could be two totally different things, right? I can start with Robert this time. What would you like to see Ruben Amorim bring to Manchester United?
Well, he's coming on November.
He
Well,
coming
his
at
first,
11-11.
right, but his first game will be next 2 weeks.
I think he gets Ipswich.
Yeah,
Right,
Ipswich. Ipswich away.
right.
The same Ipswich that beat Spurs today.
Yeah, well, I mean, to beat Spurs is nothing, because it's Spurs. You understand? I'm sorry. Spurs will go and beat Man City 1 week and then lose these guys next week.
They
That's
will
just
beat
Spurs.
they will beat us and then going to lose to
Yeah,
Ipswich or some other sideman team or whatever.
yeah, that's a Spurs. You understand? They are just a up and down team. You understand? So I can't even count Spurs. Spurs don't count. You understand? But what I would like to see between the November and December and January is some level of consistency. That is all I want to see. Consistency. Even if you decide to go and play the three in the back system, and what I mean, whatever it is, however he wants to play, let him play. But what I want to see is consistency. That's what I want to see. I don't necessarily need us to be beating every team going and coming. I don't expect that. I would like when we play City in December.
Yeah, December, yeah.
Right. What I would like to see in that game is the same way how we played against Chelsea last week. We didn't play with any fear. We didn't play like we were the underdog. We came to them as though they were equals. That's what I want to see I want to see a good competitive game. Even if we lose the game, it can't be we lose the game and we get blowout. It had to be we lost, but we fought. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to see between his first game and probably the end of January. That I want to see consistency. That is, and once I see that, I will know the rest of the season will go somewhat good. And then come summer, what I want to see is you should have your players line up who you want to buy and who you want to sell. I know Ineos will, from what they did for the summer, I know the transfers will go very well. They did everything very, very quick. So I'm not worried about how they'll do it done, like how they will get it done. But I just want him to have a plan. If he brings Gyökeres here, I am telling you, we will end up like Real Madrid and Mbappe. Don't do that. I told people Mbappe is a fraud. Gyökeres, I know he's playing good. I know, but it's only Portugal. Relax. It's only Portugal. All right? Go and buy another guy from somewhere else and bring him in and turn him into Gyökeres. But don't go and bring the man. No, I'm afraid for my team. I'm afraid of this. Remember, the bone that Pogba Berry is still there. It's still somewhere there. I don't want the curse on him. Okay, you understand? So I'm just saying, I've been hurt too many times. So I want consistency. I want a plan, and I want to see things going in a direction. And that is all I want to see.
For me, what do I want Amorim to bring? More than anything else, what I want to see at Manchester United is a better player power. I think what has been affecting this team is not the play on the pitch. The most toxic, dangerous thing is player power. And he has his job cut out for him when you look at what Garnacho did today. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, it will play out, cut out for him. I want to see that. I think Ten Hag started the club along that road, and the players still managed to get the better of him, and he's out the door. But I would like to see that. I would like to see, Amarin get that ended. These cliques, these, sub-performances and things going on in the back. What that to be, I would like to see him bring a consistent Manchester United. I don't care if he play 3 in the back, 5 in the back, 2 in the back, 1 in the back. I'm not interested. I just want to see Manchester United run out there and play a consistent style of football. Get a consistent tune out of these players. If he could do that, and if he can't do that, get rid of the players that are not working for you. I think Ten Hag felt, and other coaches have felt that certain players were untouchable. And you couldn't get rid of them. So you had to use them. No. The benefit of coming in as a new coach is that you could bench anybody. You understand? And where people like Bruno Fernandes and Delo and Ugarte may feel that either because they are Portuguese or they have a history and a connection with him through the club, his former club, that they have a leg up.
No.
I will walk through the door and first thing I do is stripping Bruno Fernandes the captaincy. And when I say that, I'm not giving somebody else the captain, I'm saying I am the new coach. People are to earn the captaincy ban. So we have the captaincy ban floating. First game, Bruno, you could run out with it. Next game, Casemiro. Next game, the senior men in the team. Everybody get a touch. And just to shake things up. You understand? Just to shake things up. And sometimes you just have to walk through the door and just do them kind of thing. To let men know, I am the boss here. Don't feel all around things. But just consistency. Once I see consistent football from my team, I don't mind. Sometimes you'll play a good game and lose.
Yeah.
That's all right. My first thing is not about results. My first thing is to get a consistent, and whoever is not playing bench, I don't care who it is. Rashford, if it's Bruno, if it's anybody, if it's Onana, bench them. You're not playing well, bench. That's all I want to see right now. Consistent football and no player power, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, just to allude to what both of you guys said, I think the one thing that Amarin has to do is he has to, when we show up to the various bars, or we sitting on our couches to watch Manchester United, we should see some sort of style of play that he's trying to implement in the 11 players on the pitch. We should see when he brings on a substitution, the only thing that's changing is the player swapping, the same style of play remains, right? Now, once he's gotten that style of play and instilled it into Manchester United, he has to he has to be ruthless in terms of, I'm not going to be pressured by you players just because you have more followers than me, or there's more people at Old Trafford that want to see you play. At the end of the day, I don't care who you are. If you go to Old Trafford, the first thing you want to do is see United win. When you leave your home to go to a bar, or you wake up and turn on the TV, you want to see United win. I could give two shits about who scores the goals.
No.
I want to see United win first. I want to see players sticking to the instilled philosophy that RA is looking to put into these players. And if you're not sticking to that philosophy, you get sub. You get sub. I'm not going to shout at you. I'm going to give you one, maybe two chances. And if I see you giving away the football a lot and not sticking to my philosophy, bench. And I'm going to show you after the game why you were benched. I'm not going to show you played shit in that game just now. I'm going to show you the other 2 or 3 other games that you did the same thing and I gave you chances and you still haven't learned from your mistake, right? Player power is something that has been in Manchester United since what? David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whatever, right? This may sound a bit harsh, but I will rate Ruben Amorim in the middle of his second season. And I say that because we have seen how these players have performed for one season under a new manager, right? It's all energetic. It's all dandy. It's all hugs and kisses. But we have always seen in the second season, these players like to throw their toys out of the pram cart. We've seen this. We on this panel have not been following Manchester United since a year ago. We have at least 20 years of watching Manchester United, each of us here. At least 20 years, right? These players will welcome you with open arms, and it's all friendly, huggy, and kissy in the first season. And then when the second season comes, you see reports saying that some of the players don't like the training sessions. They think that they're always exhausted after training sessions.
Yes.
The dressing room, there's been a fight between the Portuguese clique and the non-speaking Portuguese. All this bullshit that the media will spew, right? Ruben Amorim needs to know what he's walking into. Ruben Amorim is walking into a less toxic Manchester United, and I say that because we've just had 4 games on the bounce unbeaten, right? Everybody's happy right now, but we're still in 13th position, and we just got our first win in the Europa League. Bear that in mind, right? Part of me thinks that Ruben Amorim should have demanded that he sees out his sporting. He sees out the 2024-2025 season with Sporting and then come to Manchester United. But I've seen it from people's different perspectives where as a big club, you got to move as a big club. And that the coaches were like, not the coaches. David Brailsford and Dan Ashworth were like, look, you either come now or you're not, or we're not coming back to Sporting Lisbon again. Sorry. Right? Now, bear in mind, this was a guy who was linked with Barcelona after Xavi was fired. This guy was linked with Bayern Munich before Vincent Kompany. This guy was linked with Chelsea before Fonseca. Same thing with Liverpool before Arne Slot came in. Also West Ham.
And he was linked as a possible replacement at City.
Yeah. Because Hugo Vian is now the new sporting director at Manchester City. And he said, well, if Pep does leave at the end of the 2024-2025 season, go for Ruben Amorim, right? And lo and behold, Ruben Amorim, you're walking into a Manchester United that is 13th position versus a Sporting Lisbon that is unbeaten in the Champions League, has the top goal scorers in the Portuguese league. So yeah, a philosophy that will have the United players on the same page, be ruthless, no favoritism. Please, no favoritism. And if players are playing shit, okay, don't immediately bench them. So you can play shit in one game and be benched the next game. That's going to lower the player's confidence. If you play shit in one game, I can give you another chance, maybe a third chance. But at the end of the day, you're not listening to me. You got to hold some pain. You got to, right? There's a tad bit of excitement, and a tad as in a little bit from Ruben Amorim coming into Manchester United. But I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's put it that way. I've seen where people have compared the Ten Hag at Ajax, where he was one of these coaches that had his current football team, Ajax, playing sexy football and doing well in the Champions League and putting Real Madrid to the sword and having everybody around him dancing in the dressing room and everybody having fun and what's not. And lo and behold, 2.5 seasons later, sacked from Manchester United, right? At the end of the day, you got to be realistic. So, Ruben Amorim, welcome to Manchester United. We'll see how you can handle from now to the end of the season, right? He has already stated that he's not bringing any players from Sporting Lisbon in January to Manchester United. So, let's see. Before we close off the show, any final thoughts from you guys because we're going into the international break right now?
I just want to tell the people that consistently watch United Hour, we're going to have content during the international break, so keep your eyes and ears open. Things coming.
Any thoughts from you, Robert?
Yeah, I can't wait for football to come back. You know, for once, I am waiting.
There's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, for once. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Actually, I guess one thing we have not done in a while before we close off the podcast is this here.
Go away, mama loca boo boo day. Shut your mouth, go away, mama loca boo boo day.
So yeah, before the international break comes along, let's get your thoughts on the panel and in the comments. Who you think has been the top shotter and boo-boo man of the week? And anybody who is not familiar with the terms top shotter and boo-boo man, top shotter could be any club, any player, any manager who has been having a terrific week, could be having a terrific 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, right? And the opposite is for a boo-boo man. Boo-boo man is that club, that manager, that player who has been horrendous. Could have been this week, could have been last week, could have been the week before, right? So, yeah. What do you guys think? Who has been your top shotter? Actually, let's start negative and then go to positive. Who has been your boo-boo man of the last week? Could be 2 weeks, could be this weekend. Who's your boo-boo man?
I mean, you know, you're throwing this on a spotty moment, Phil, because we didn't plan it, we didn't expect it. But I would easily say my boo-boo man would have to be Pep and Manchester City. I think it was 4 or 5 games lost in a row.
Yeah.
Never before in his coaching career. And let's be real, if it was Manchester United, nobody wouldn't want to hear about injuries. Right? No. They'd be like, oh, Manchester. So you had to take that, right? You had to take that jam. And so definitely Pep and Manchester City. My boo-boo man. In terms of top shutter, Slot and Liverpool. I don't think anybody. I was talking to a Liverpool fan this morning when I was at Rise Sports Bar watching the game, and he was saying, you know, he was almost depressed when Klopp left. You know, he really didn't have high hopes. No, man, feel he could win the league. So, he definitely is at a bit top shutter because he has Liverpool fans flying high right now. You know what I mean? Liverpool is doing really good. They're not just top of the Premier League, they're also top of their section in the Champions League as well. So Liverpool doing the business. Salah reminding everybody what Mo Salah brings. So yeah, that'll be my top shutter.
I can kind of predict who Robert's boo-boo man is, but I'll let him say it and we'll see.
Well, obviously, Arsenal.
Thank you. If you said anything other than Arsenal, I would have clicked end stream right now.
I mean, how to be Arsenal, man. How to be Arsenal, you know, all the big talking you can talk and Gabriela and Saliba.
The men wait till the end of the season to follow up that dream. Start early.
But I don't like it, right? Because I love it more when they are on top, and then you see it And then you see like the last end, you just see it.
The meltdown starts in
Yes.
March.
And then it'll be glorious now. Now it's too early, you know. It's like
too early, yeah.
yeah, kind of kill the vibe now. You know, what I mean, it's real kill the vibe, but the real kill the vibe. But my top shutter, I'll do two. Unfortunately, yes. I mean, I don't pick up Liverpool. They're playing good. You understand? I believe that they will win the league, maybe, but I know the Premier League now would be very up and down. I think Pep will come back in some point, and when he does, unfortunately, hopefully by the time what will come back, and if he gets the team back on side, I think he will move very much like how Ferguson used to move. When he on, it will be just teams getting steamrolled. You will see teams getting 3, 4, 5 consistently every game. Right? I think that is coming. You know, and then my second top shotter, not to bring things into the podcast. I hope we don't get cancelled. But I had a big up the man who won the 47th. You understand?
Oh,
that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
That guy.
Yeah, for sure.
That guy.
I'm the top shot of the year.
Yeah, that man.
Shot of the year.
The
YMCA.
the next
Lord, boy, look.
will be glorious. Because I mean, I'm glad to you. I mean, since Tuesday, I'm watching the internet every day, and it's every day there's joy. There's joy, you know, just seeing this guy having people freaking out. One man have the whole world just freaking out. Crazy. But I love him. And I want to learn the dance. That dance he has, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to start going parties. I'm going to go carnival. Everywhere I go in, I'm going to do the dance. Everywhere I go in. So, yeah, that's my two.
Yeah. No, that was didn't see that last top shot being called, but I mean, it is what it is. Definitely the people with let's say the people who don't have black hair. Let's put it that way. The people who don't have black hair, who have rainbow hair, are, let's say, throwing a tantrum, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
We're all here for it. Anyway, back to football. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, my boo-boo man definitely has to be Erling Haaland, when he mentioned stay humble.
Yeah.
And since mentioning stay humble, he's done jack shit since that. He scored a goal yesterday, but that wasn't enough to see off Brighton.
No.
My top shotter, I guess say I got two top shotters. The last one has really irked me to say, but the first one I would say is Ipswich, because they finally got their first win.
Big up Ipswich
Today. That's good for Kieran. It's Kieran McKenna, right? Yeah. Kieran McKenna got his first win as Ipswich manager in the Premier League. And this last one, it irks me to say this, but Barcelona. Yeah, boy. Barcelona.
They're that tier.
Yeah, Barcelona under Hansi Flick has revitalized Rafinha, and he has the likes of
People can say what they want about Flick. That man is a good coach.
He is.
That man is a good coach.
Definitely. So yeah, that there are my top shotters of the last, I don't know, month or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, guys, we've come to the end of the podcast. Ruud's last dance, 3-0 to United. I'm not sure when we will be back, but we'll definitely have another podcast, maybe to preview Ruben Amorim coming in, or a review of Ruben Amorim's first game. Totally up to you guys. But yeah, President Chad and Robert, as the saying goes, what United will never die. We'll keep the red flag flying high. That's it. But I like to say, win, lose, or tie, United till I die. So
Yes, definitely.
yeah. Hope everybody has a good one. Thanks for the comments, and we are out.
Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.